welcome to episode 499 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering, which we have been for over 499 weeks.
Wow, that's a lot of weeks.
499 episodes. We started a little bit before that, so
yeah.
10 years.
10 years of Magic podcast.
Woof.
And magic.
I'm one of your hosts, Megan.
And I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
And on today's episode, we are going to talk about why do you play Magic?
Why?
Why play Magic?
It's one of the big important question words we learn as journalists.
Exactly. Why? Who? What?
Where? When?
How?
How is the one that nobody likes to talk about because it starts with an H.
Yeah. Rude.
Come on. Start with a W like the rest of them.
How? Wow.
It would have been so easy.
So easy.
Whoever made the word how to just make it wow.
Yeah, exactly. Or wow.
Wow.
And as a question, wow? Hear me out. You could replace how with wow. Because you're instead of being like, how did they do it? You'll be like, wow, did they ever accomplish this?
Wow, did they do it?
Wow,
and
did they do it?
How becomes wow. So when you're like, wow, you would say how instead.
Yes.
I don't hate it.
Thank you. So
the motion is passed.
Exactly. Anyways, we'll talk about what gets people into the game and maybe what ways to play are great for you if you're like, oh, hey, I really enjoy playing with my group of friends. And we'll be like, hey, these are the best ways for you to play the game.
Yeah.
Here are our recommendations tailored to why you play.
And it's just an interesting discussion, too, to kind of delve down into that psychological layer of your gray matter about why you play the game of Magic.
You can't do something for 10 years without a couple of times at least deeply questioning why you're doing it.
Or at least you probably should.
Yeah.
Anything, truly.
A life without introspection is not a life lived at all.
I mean, if I'm tap dancing for 10 years and I don't stop and ask myself, why am I tap dancing? I mean...
Maybe it's because you're physically compelled to by a demon.
By a demon. Ooh,
sometimes tap dancing isn't about the why. It's about the how do I get this demon to stop making me tap dance?
As long as I'm getting paid, you know what, demon? Fine.
Oh, I didn't realize the demon was paying you to tap dance. I thought he was
just a
just
weird deal.
Okay. Well, honestly, if he's paying you, all right.
But before we start our show, huge, enormous thank you.
What is a job
to a demon?
If not a demon paying you to tap dance? All right.
I mean, it's a good metaphor.
Yes.
It's a good metaphor.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you, but I just wanted to point out that if you think about it hard enough, what we're all doing is just being paid to tap dance by a bunch of demons.
I mean, you could say that's what God is doing to us.
Exactly. Or maybe you're the demon and you pay other people to do the tap dancing.
Tap dance for me.
Anyways.
I come from the pits of the belly of the beast.
You were saying something relevant to Magic the Gathering.
Patreon. You can support us. Are you a demon or being made by a demon to tap dance? Well, you can help us tap dance.
Exactly.
You can be our demons.
You can be the demon who helps us tap dance. We would really love to head into episode 500 next week.
500.
With a couple of new patrons. That'd be really nice. Thank you so much to Ara Lily for increasing their pledge this past week and avoiding the sad trombone noise.
Thank you so
much. And also just
much.
bringing so much joy to us when we get that email notification. It's really something delightful. So think about it. 500 episodes. Very few people get there with anything that they do.
I mean, if you think about podcasts, there is some kind of stat of how many podcasts last even to episode 100. And it's very, 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 very small. I would want to know what
Here we are.
500.
500.
It's got to be less than 1%.
So help us celebrate, please, by considering becoming a patron. Keep us going for, another 500. Who knows?
You can join the fam by going to patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Thank you as well to Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF. We are very excited to announce next week on our 500th episode a giveaway that they're helping us do in celebration of it.
And they've been our sponsor for a long time since before episode 300. They gave us a lovely trophy. That is just beautiful, sitting over here on our shelf. If you're ever like, what is that thing?
Over 200 episodes.
Yeah.
Wild.
That was for 300. So thank you, Card Kingdom, for being so awesome.
Oh man, you remember the time that they sent us socks that had our faces on them?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They got us that. Maybe that was 400.
That's why they're so cool.
Yeah.
You know, they'll just do stuff like that. And you can be part of Card Kingdom's coolness by buying whatever you need for Magic there. cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Use that link for anything you need for in your magical existence because they're just great. I mean, they send you face socks.
Exactly.
That's the kind of company they are.
Face socks. The sequel to Face Off.
Where they just swap socks.
Yeah.
But wait.
No, they each have socks with each other's faces on them.
Whoa. Who is who?
Exactly.
Touching the wrong wife's face because he's wearing the wrong socks.
That movie.
It's time for the Randomizer, where we hit the random button on scryfall.com and try to guess what the card does just from the image alone. Ooh. Megan.
No.
Enjoy this one.
No.
Happy $4.99.
No.
I think you'd like this card. Do you really like this one?
No.
Well, it sounds like you like it.
Okay, I'm going to try to describe to you what I'm seeing without really looking at it because
it's truly disturbing.
There's a giant slug is too kind. I don't want to be rude to slugs and call this a slug, but that's the only way to describe this shit, right? It's like long,
slug-like.
It's enormous. It has 4 weird arms and no face, but an enormous mouth.
What do you call that?
An enormous mouth. It's like it has like a mask on top of its mouth.
It looks like there's a mask like from inside of it trying to get out through its skin.
Exactly. And it has like this gigantic, disgusting tongue like sticking out of
Lots
its
of
enormous.
drool.
Yes. It's like grinning so big you can see all its gums. It has like this like weird trail of disgusting spiny fur along its back. It's everything about it that could be bad is. Like, that's the only, like, that's really, if you were like, is there any redeeming element of the image you're being presented with?
Yeah.
The answer is a firm no.
Yeah.
The answer is absolutely not.
This thing's horrifying. What do you think this card is called?
Disgusting slug.
Well, I'm wrong.
Okay, look. Wildwood slug.
Wildwood slug. The name of this card is Witchmaw Nephilim.
Okay, that makes sense.
And what do you think it does?
I'm going to say that this is going to be 3 and a black for an 0-1.
You hate this card.
I hate it. I hate
this. 0-1.
But if you sacrifice it, you get to create if you sacrifice it to an effect. Like when this card becomes sacrificed, create a 5/5 spooky creature.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So
Slug.
4 and a black for an 0-1.
And then you can
when
make
it becomes sacrificed, make a 5/5.
All right. Well, this is going to surprise. This may shock you.
I'm
about
ready
to
be shocked.
It is a 1/1.
Oh, I was not that far off on my power toughness.
This is Witchmaw Nephilim. It is green, white, blue, black.
What?
That's its casting cost.
No.
It is a rare from Guild Pact. We'll get into that more later. Creature Nephilim. Whenever you play a spell, I'm going to read the Oracle text instead. Whenever you cast a spell, you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on Witchmaw Nephilim. Whenever Witchmaw Nephilim attacks, it gains trample until end of turn if its power is 10 or greater. Weird, huh?
I don't understand why. Like, what? What?
You better recast. I mean, you're casting a lot of spells in the game, so it's going to grow.
Yes, but still, green. Also, I do not understand this being a gold creature that is green, white, blue, black. Show me where white is in this creature's color pie. Yeah, they are. They are big and spooky.
Yeah, exactly. Where is
they
white?
Are big spooky.
There's no
teeth.
law and order to this thing.
This is not nice. I don't like it.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre?
It's disgusting.
Originally from Guild Pact.
I cannot describe to you all how disgusting the art is.
The 37th Magic expansion released in 2006 as the second set in the Ravnica block. So that's what the colors, up with the colors there. Really, really weird.
The very weird.
Really
not
weird.
About it. I'm not about it.
You all need to go look at Witch Ma Nephilim if you're not watching the video because you will truly be terrified.
It's disgusting.
Nasty card. Just nasty.
All right. Well, Maria, I've got your Scryfall random ready.
I hope it's very gross.
All right, take a look. It is not.
It's not. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at a dwarf with a hammer in a forge, forging a weapon of some kind. I don't really know what kind of weapon it's making. Maybe a saw? Maybe an axe? Maybe a sword?
Yeah, I will say it's not clear.
I don't know.
It's early on in its development.
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. There's a forge behind this dwarf. He's got a beautiful long beard and mustaches.
Really beautiful mustachio.
And some spears are in the background. So this looks like an earlier piece of magic art.
Yes.
Ooh, this is going to be, dwarf. The card is called Dwarven Hammer Maker.
Yeah.
What's it actually called?
Okay, it's called Pardic Swordsmith.
All right, so he's making a sword.
Yeah.
Fine. Right, so what is this card? It is 2 and a red for a 2/1 dwarf and at common. And if it's equipped, it gets +1/+1.
Ooh, well, you are bang on with the mana cost. It is
nice.
2 and a red.
I feel like that's what I normally get right.
You've been on a pretty hot streak with mana costs.
It's a weird thing to get right.
2 and a red for a 1/1 creature dwarf.
Yeah.
Red, discard a card at random. Pardic Swordsmith gets +2/+0 until end of turn.
Oh.
It is obviously an older card, as that is quite bad.
Weird.
It is from Odyssey.
I mean, it doesn't say how many cards you can pump
true.
an infinite
You
time.
could do it. I mean, as many cards that you have in your hand.
Yeah.
Discard a card at random from your hand.
I mean, that's a pretty high cost that I don't want to pay. But
this is 2 and a red for a 1/1 that you have to discard and pay to make it.
Trying to
anything.
make a case for it for some reason.
I don't know why you are.
Why.
It's a bad card, Maria.
I don't know why. Don't pick this card.
Some cards are bad cards. And this card is a bad card.
But it can close out a game.
You're really trying hard.
When is this card from?
Odyssey.
Oh, interesting.
A finely crafted blade will never meet as many blows on the battlefield as it did on the anvil.
I like that flavor text.
That is a good flavor text.
And so true.
Yeah, it is a really good piece of art. It's a good classic piece of magic art.
Classic magic art for sure.
Great flavor text.
Wow. Cool. I'm sorry that I tried to push this card on you, everybody. I don't know what got into me.
Maria wants you to say that it's a good card, but you don't have to.
Everybody, why do you play Magic the Gathering?
Maria, let's start out with you.
Wow, me?
Yeah, why do you play Magic?
Well, here, we'll give a slight little story. We're coming to 500 episodes here.
Yeah.
So why do we start? We like playing games.
Yes.
So I've always loved playing games ever since I was a little kid. Played a lot of games with my dad. And I feel like we've said this a number of times on the show. If you like playing games, truly, you will like Magic the Gathering because it is the best game.
It is a great game.
Just full stop. And I think, we just started playing because it is such a fantastic game. And fell in love with it immediately upon learning it. Obsession level, especially draft early on.
Yeah. I still think about us taking Magic decks to events, and playing them.
Parties.
We were at
We took them
to parties. And would play Magic at parties.
That is nerd
with
level.
With non-Magic people.
Midnight.
We're talking about just
parties
unaffiliated with
normal
Magic parties.
And we're playing Magic on the floor. Wow, nerd alert.
So when you say obsession level, that's what we're talking about there. I mean. That's what we're talking about.
And I continue to play it. It's got its little claws into me, like it does many of us, because, gosh, I just really like all the different ways that you can play it. I love gaming and just being able to sit down whenever I want, do a draft on Arena, fire it up, have a great time. It's relaxing to play for me. I love the competitive nature of it as well. We talk about that on this show a lot. So we went to a lot of Grand Prix back in the day and played a lot of Grand Prix because we just like competition. But I'm not like the level where I'm like, oh, I want to qualify to play on the pro tour or anything, right? So what would I describe that as?
At the end of the day, you're a casual player because you do not seek to be professionally competitive.
Right.
I think is what Magic would say about you.
But like, I'm more than just like going to the kitchen table and playing with a stack of nasty old cards from underneath my bed. You know what I mean?
Wow. Roasting the people who do that.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
This is a multifaceted answer, I guess.
Yeah. Because to be fair, it's because Magic is like such a multifaceted game.
Yeah.
There can be 100 reasons why you play, honestly.
Gosh, this has become more difficult to answer than I ever thought. And it's become such an incredibly huge part of our lives, obviously, ever since we started playing. And now we have so many friends in the game, and we haven't been able to see them now for 2 years.
Which really sucks.
Very hard. A lot of our coworkers we haven't seen in a couple of years. And so like that is certainly part of why we keep playing, is because we've made such great connections in the game. It's like,
so some amount of it is like community. Yeah.
But I guess the top reason for me is just like, I just like playing games, and it's a great game that you can pick up literally whenever and just play it and have a great time.
Yeah.
That's my base answer. What's your answer?
I would say mine is like the same.
Yeah.
Right. The question is like, hey, how do you spend what limited free time that you have?
Right.
Because we are people who are very busy with a billion things.
Yeah.
Everyone's busy with a billion things. But at the end of the day, when I have an hour on like a late Saturday morning and I'm like, what do I want to do? A lot of times the answer is just play Magic because it's fun.
It's fun.
It's stinking fun
it's
to
a fun
play.
Game.
I like
News
the
alert.
challenge of it. Like it's a game that challenges me. It's not something that I can play and just be good at. I have to work at it. I get to play against people who are certainly quite a bit better than me.
Yeah.
And it is like interesting. It's an interesting learning experience where you always get to learn something new.
It's always changing.
Exactly. It's always changing. It is always a different experience.
It's always changing, especially these days.
Yeah, these days it changes in the blink of a stinking eye.
You know what, too? Like, think about it. Like, a lot of people say, oh, I like to play, games casually, and I'll just pull up like something like, Candy Crush or whatever on your phone, which is more of like a relaxing, like zone out experience. But Magic is more active than that.
Yes.
So it's that kind of activating that part of your brain that wants to solve puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, it's something that I can do both in time that I would qualify as my relaxation time, like my personal time. But yeah, it's not just something mindless.
Right, exactly. You're actively relaxing. Act-laxing.
Act-laxing.
X-laxing, if you will.
Okay.
Magic. X-lax yourself. Think about that slogan for Magic 30.
You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome, marketing departments.
I play Magic to X-lax. How about you? I mean, some people do when they're on the toy, playing some Magic.
Okay.
Now that it's on your phone.
Yeah, you
know
can.
what I'm saying. We were saying why you play Magic.
Yes. It's warm in here.
So those are our answers. Multifaceted answers. And we
yeah, exactly, right? Like at the end of the day, it's about liking it.
Yep. It sure is. We tweeted this question out to all of you, and we got some great answers back.
Yeah. So you want to talk about some of the reasons why you all play Magic. And I feel like I just want to touch on like one of the things that comes up a lot, which is people just being like, oh, I just fell in love with the game.
Yeah.
Right. I started playing it and I fell in love with it. And like that is a lot of people's answer. You start playing and you realize I like this.
That was like the first thing that I said, weirdly.
Yeah.
It was like we just started playing and it was like, boing!
Yeah.
Instant hooks.
Exactly. We were just automatically like, yeah, why would I stop playing this? Exactly. Which obviously there are reasons why people do.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just boils down to life gets busier.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, right? Like you start playing and you're like, this is great.
One of our coworkers tweeted at us, Ailey's V. I fell in love with it 4 years ago and met some of my favorite people because of it. It changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's another one, like favorite people, right? Like,
yeah.
So we were talking about reasons why people play the game. One of them is like, it is to have something to do with my friends or my partner.
Yeah, for sure.
Is like a big part of it.
Yes.
Right? Like, oh, hey, friend groups have different activities that they can all do when they hang out together. And it's so great to have a game that you all have in common.
Oh, yeah.
To just be like, these people are my friends and we all love talking about this thing. I was hanging out with some friends last weekend. One person who is in from out of town who I know from Magic, and then a mutual friend that we have who is not Magic affiliated. And we kept having to stop ourselves from talking about only Magic.
I thought you were going to say trying to pull them in, you know?
Oh, yeah, that too.
Well,
I mean, if they were going to play, they already would. They know a lot of players.
Okay.
Right, like we had to stop ourselves from talking about it all the time.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, there's just so much to talk about.
Yes.
You meet great people or you already have the game in common and you just talk about it with people all the time.
Yeah, 100,000%. Great fun time friend activity.
Yes.
Situation. From casual to competitive to like if you're doing a team draft, if you're just hanging out playing those nasty cards from under the bed, as I call them. It's going to get me canceled.
Yeah. Wow.
All of this.
Maria says hashtag nasty cards, hashtag under the bed. What secrets is she keeping?
Hashtag under the bed is now trending.
I was just trying to write the clickbait tweet about it.
Yeah.
When you get canceled, it'll be because I canceled you with that tweet.
With that tweet. Ooh,
with that specific
hard hitting
tweet. So yeah, I just want to say, like, if you love playing Magic with your friends, then I would say now that the world is opening back up a little bit and there are more events, you should try going to a Magic event if that is something that you feel comfortable with. Because if what you already enjoy is having it in common with people that you already know, like Ailey said, there's so many other great people for you to meet out there who are also going to be your friends.
Yes. Somebody tweeted, the pandemic made it painfully aware that I play primarily to meet new people, make new friends, and hang out with existing friends. I've barely played for the past 2.5 years since Arena Online don't scratch those itches for me. So yeah, like going out and playing in-person events again is huge for the people for whom Magic is a social, gathering point for them.
So go out there and give it a try. That's our encouragement to you if you're feeling up to it.
I love this answer. It's a nice contained way to express myself.
Yeah. So that's another reason that we have on this list of why do you play? And there's so many different avenues for self-expression and finding identity in the game.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons Magic has lasted for 30 years.
Yeah.
And remained so incredibly popular and only grown in popularity.
Yes. Right? Like it's one of the games that you can have the strongest identity with a slice of it. Like, I'm Izzet. Oh, I'm Boros. Oh, I'm Prismari. I'm Silverquill. I love Nicol Bolas because I love evil dragons.
You know what's so funny? I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and it's like the deck you choose to play in a tournament says so much about you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, gosh, there's not a lot of games like that. If I'm sitting down to play Scrabble, I'm not just playing the words.
Oh, it's like if you sat down to play Scrabble and you only play words that you like.
Yes.
I will only play a Scrabble word if it's a word that I personally enjoy.
So like you have the opportunity to get 300 points off of playing Moist and you absolutely will not.
You're like, no, I won't. It must be a word I love.
Because I was thinking like, would I ever go to a tournament and play a control deck, like a blue base control deck?
Yeah.
The answer is I absolutely would not. Isn't that so funny?
Yes.
Like, even if it was the best deck and I knew that playing it was the smartest decision, I'm like, no, I just won't do it.
Yeah. And there are people for whom that is the case. They're like, there can also be an identity where you are just going to say, I will play the best deck.
Yeah, that's another one.
That's right, because Magic identities span
space
and time. They span so many different continuums of there's the one of casual to competitive.
Yeah.
Like you can identify somewhere on there.
Yeah.
You can identify with a commander.
Exactly.
You can build a commander deck. You can identify with a planeswalker.
Yeah.
You can identify with a guild. You can identify with one of the schools in Strixhaven.
Right, exactly.
You can just identify with like a plane that you really love, like the flavor of a plane.
And I like that when we were talking about the history of playtesting in Magic a couple of episodes ago, if you didn't check it out, highly recommend. It was super interesting. They knew that from the jump when they were designing Magic, that you could express yourself through deck creation.
Yeah.
And I think that was just like, they just knew, and it was so brilliant to be able to do that in the game, because you feel such a better a sense of ownership over what you're doing in the game, as opposed to some of the materials that are given to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, here, okay, I'll play with these.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. Oh, aggro to control. I didn't even name that one.
Yeah, aggro to control.
But like or like combo, which is its own like little arm off of aggro control. Aggro control continuum. A weird arm of combo over here. Right. Yeah, so like it's so cool. And if you are kind of struggling so far with that element of Magic, like again, maybe it's just that you haven't found the continuum that you are like, oh, this one expresses who I am.
Yeah.
Like right now you're like, oh, I'm just a casual player, but I don't like, that's not part of my like play identity. It's just who I happen to play with. And it's like, oh, maybe you want to go look at all the different planeswalkers and be like, hey, one of these planeswalkers really expresses who I am. Or maybe you just haven't found like aggro or control which one you really love yet.
Your play identity.
Yes, the play identity.
I just really need to make a lot of these portmanteaus all throughout the episode. I'm going to continue doing it even if it's terrible. I don't know if it can get worse than X-laxing, but we'll see.
Play identity is when your dentist is messing around with you.
Hey, stop! Play
and they're
identity.
like, you're fine. And then they're like, never mind. Actually, you have 6 cavities. We have to fill them. Play identity.
I felt that when you said that in my mouth. I also like this answer from Matt. I seem to treat it like a martial art, where it's an exercise to keep my mind fit in a way that feels like actual fighting. Isn't that so? I mean, I love that.
And I feel like this is something that we talked about way back in the day in terms of Magic giving you an outlet to be competitive.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it's so nice to be able to have an element in your life where you're like, I can care about winning here.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of aspects of life where you should not care about winning because it's going to make things really problematic and you kind of toxic.
Like driving, for instance.
Don't try to win at driving. Don't try
That's
to
road rage.
Exactly. Like if you're like in your relationship and you're trying to be the winner of your relationship, that's just going to be bad.
How do you win at it?
Exactly, Maria. You don't want to spend time thinking about it because that's just a really harmful way to
at least I won today.
Interpersonal
in my
dynamics. Exactly. But it's a place, right, where you can channel that kind of feeling, which is like tons of people have it, right? Tons of people have a competitive drive.
You were a competitive fencer.
Yes, I was a competitive fencer for a long time. And Magic was really, like, I think helped me in a lot of ways, kind of channel a lot of the energy that I had once put into fencing.
Yeah.
That doesn't just, like, evaporate once you stop having an outlet for it.
Exactly.
It's just kind of all pent up, being like, what do I do with this feeling?
And keeping your mind fit, too, is, you know, like keeping yourself sharp.
Absolutely.
Playing Magic, I think, would be a fantastic way to do that. I feel like I'm not alone. When it was like during quarantine and all that, I felt like my brain kind of went to mush town, which I imagine is just like an animated town where everything's made of mashed potatoes.
Yes.
And
like boiled turnips.
And Magic is a way to keep your brain tack sharp in a fun way that's not just like doing the New York Times crossword every Saturday.
Yeah. One of the replies, Laura in part said, it's a fun and challenging game.
Yes.
Which I think challenging is like a great part of it. Like you said, it helps keep you sharp. But also it's just, you have fun doing it, right? It's not like, and I'm sorry for people out there who like this, it's not like Sudoku. Which makes me want to gouge my eyes out with knitting needles.
Yeah.
A la Oedipus.
It's a puzzle, but it's, I don't know.
It's an interesting puzzle. It's a fun puzzle to play.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Wait, I'm talking about Magic.
Oh, okay. I was like,
No, Sudoku is not fun. I'm really sorry if you like it. But have you tried any other hobby in the history of the world? Any other hobby?
Man, back in the 1920s, like crosswords, that's what they had. It was like it was a fad. It was like the hula hoop or the pet rock. Crosswords. Man, can you imagine simpler times?
Living in an era where having a pet rock was something to do.
I'm just like,
because you're so short on things to do.
Have you ever thought about living in the past and not having like all the stuff we have today, like games wise?
Mostly I think about how I wouldn't want to have surgery without anesthesia. But also what you're talking about, sure.
Yeah, fair point. They just had what we call a stick. Put it in your mouth.
And some whiskey.
But I'm like, man, what would I do back then?
Yeah.
I'm like, you couldn't even play gin rummy. That didn't even exist.
Yeah.
I suppose probably cribbage did.
Oh man, there's there's an improv game that everyone was playing for a while as a warm-up. And it turned out that it's literally been a word game that people played.
Oh, that's cute.
Since like the Victorian era, at least.
Yeah, for parlor games or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a parlor word game.
Yeah.
Although I will say,
before Magic, you had 20 questions.
Really off on a tangent here. If you've ever read Jane Eyre, if you've ever read Jane Eyre, there's like the scene where they're all at like Mr. Rochester's house and like there's like the big party there that he brings and they do charades, but their version of charades is there's like a curtain and they close the curtain and they have like elaborate costumes and they're presenting.
Jeez.
It's like an 8-person tableau.
Oh, wow.
With like costumes and everything.
Man, people were bored.
And that version of charades sounds pretty sick, man. Sounds pretty dang cool if you ask me. But that aside, I would
charades.
Not want to live in a world where a man can lock his wife in the attic because he thinks that she's crazy. So there you go.
So true. And
Anyways.
like happy to be alive while magic exists, and magic doesn't not exist. Wait, how did I say that? Probably wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot. I'm just like, what would I have done?
Absolutely.
Maybe I would have written a novel. So maybe it's better. Maybe it's worse that magic exists during my lifetime.
No.
I mean, this person really went for it with their reply. Mm-hmm. Seeing any feeling of joy and hope leave my opponent's body as the frustration and despair grows on their face as they realize my only goal as I draw a new card is to prevent them from having any fun at the table. This is why I don't play online.
Do you know what? Power to you, my friend.
Whoa.
Sometimes the way that you enjoy magic is by making sure that other people don't.
Yeah.
And there is power in that.
I mean, at least they've identified what makes them tick. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. One that we haven't touched on yet is someone who says, I used to for the art and a fun time kitchen table experience. Now I just buy art books. Yeah. Where is my Eldraine art book?
Oh, yeah.
Which art is a great reason. There's a whole community of people. There's people who love buying original magic art.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations if you're wealthy and can do that. It does seem very cool. But people who just generally love the art, right? They love the artist's work. They follow the other projects that the artists do.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
I would lump that in too with people who really love the story, which is we call them Vorthos players.
Yeah, absolutely.
And art and story are, so well cared for nowadays in Magic that I think it's just such a wonderful part that, thing that makes the game even deeper than other games, which just like, I'm like, other games straight up don't have that. The one I'm thinking right now is Warhammer, has an incredibly deep lore, which we're getting commander decks of that this fall.
Yeah.
But that's another game that has gone super deep on lore and stuff, but most games just like don't.
Yeah.
It's just like a paragraph,
There is a tweet that I saw the other day that was just like, 40,000 is a lot of Warhammers.
I mean, yeah.
I just want to say, like, it is.
It's true. It's a lot of Warhammers. It's a lot.
Here's another one. Someone says, I'm commander only now, but there's so much I like designing, refining, and perfecting a deck.
Yes.
Which I think kind of falls into a little bit of like the self-expression part.
Yeah.
But is like somewhere along the lines, it's like this continuum of self-expression meets like competitiveness.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the drive to be like, what can I make and can I make it good? Right? The question isn't just, can I make an enchantress deck where I play a bunch of enchantments and generate all this value, but can I make it good enough so that I can win like my commander pot or something like that?
Yes, it's like the quest for finding something that nobody has found yet.
Yes, people love it, right? Like what a dream that people can pursue to be the person who breaks it.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Who finds a deck and is like, no one has found this yet.
Even if it's the microcosm of playing Commander with your friends, right? Or your nasty cards from under the bed, #cancel. That's still doing it in your little environment, wherever you are. Or if you're trying to do it on a larger scale, like at your LGS and be like, ooh, nobody's going to bring this to this RCQ and I'm going to one up everybody, or the Pro Tour. You know what I mean? And I think like back in the day, that was even a bigger driver for people in Magic because there was just not the online presence and, sharing of deck lists that we have nowadays, which I guess is sad in a way, but also good in a way because more people have access to it. So whatever, it's two sides of a coin.
Yeah.
But I think that's just such a huge thrill when you find something nobody else has found.
Yeah.
And so
it's just so cool. Like I said, what a feeling to be able to pursue.
Yes, absolutely.
Like you said, whether it's just in your like play group, you're like, oh, you all thought I couldn't do it, but here it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But I did it. Oh, this person says there are bird wizards. I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Fair enough. Bird
There's
wizards
some
are
great
cool.
creature types in Magic.
Bizards. Ugh. Felt like I just said a bad word.
#cancel.
Hashtag under the bed.
Hashtag under the bed.
Gotta go grab my bizards from under the bed. Ugh. I better leave.
There's something wrong about that sentence. Mara says, Gavin Verhey imprisoned my parents in a Magic card and sealed them into a booster pack. Now I must play Magic the Gathering and earn enough tickets at Magic events to buy booster packs until I free my parents.
Wow, Mara.
I really hope that you free your parents.
Me too.
And Gavin needs to be stopped.
He does. He's a monster.
He's a monster.
He's on a rampage.
And it's like we've had enough of,
of your tyranny.
We've had enough of people's parents.
Of your parent tyranny.
Yes, of people's parents being imprisoned in booster packs.
Stop doing it, Gavin. Why are you doing this? Why?
Why? We just want to know why do you play Magic, but also why are you imprisoning people's parents?
That's a unique reason, but perhaps some of the people
share exactly.
It.
Maybe you share it.
Maybe your parents have been stolen by Gavin as well.
Exactly. Some people, like, this has come up from a couple of people. A couple of people have just been saying, like, there's one person who's like, I've played since 1994.
Wow. Yeah.
And other people just saying, there's nostalgia to it.
Yes.
Which I think at this point we've been playing 10 years.
10 years.
Which I cannot believe. I swear sometimes it still feels like we're little baby players.
Yeah, for sure.
I still see myself as like a little noob.
I know.
Out there wandering through the forest of Magic. But like we have a nostalgia. We have a lot of nostalgia for Khans of Tarkir.
Yeah.
We talk about constantly.
Return to Ravnica.
Our
first set.
Theros, the original Theros set.
If I ever see Return to Ravnica on a Magic Online event or whatever, I just really want to play it because it's just like my first set, wonderful, happy feelings.
Yes, right? I still think about the feeling of casting a Nimbus Naiad.
Oh, Nimbus
of bestowing
Naiad,
it onto another creature.
Absolutely.
Great feeling. Really good feeling. Yeah, so for some people, right, it's just like, it is just comforting to play.
Yeah.
Like there's something, as much as it is new, there is still so much that is familiar about it, no matter how long you've been playing. There's been some core rule changes like mana burn and weird stuff like that. But in a lot of ways,
putting your lands in back.
Yeah, exactly. In a lot of ways, there's something that is still so constant, right? You play these lands.
In back.
In back.
Do you remember when they added the rule that your lands have to be in back?
They're like, they have to be in back. You must stop putting them in front, you absolute monsters.
Did you ever play against a lands in front person like at a Grand Prix?
No, I would have.
Ooh,
been so mad.
I certainly did a few times.
Ugh.
And I'm like, come on.
You know what you're doing is wrong at that point. You know what you're doing is wrong. I'm just saying. You're doing it. You know what you're doing is wrong.
It's just, ugh. Don't like it.
Yeah, but right, so many things have stayed the same. Life total at 20. Creatures attack.
Yeah. Creatures attack.
Creatures attack. Card draw is the best.
Well, that's up for debate, but you know what I mean.
Like I said, Maria, card draw is the best.
I like this answer. I can use my dark side at the table.
Ooh. Yeah, you can channel some elements of your personality that you otherwise keep shuttered.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the show. People, you know, I wouldn't describe my personality as very aggressive and like attacking and like trying to get people dead as fast as possible or whatever. But when I play games, that's certainly how I play.
I've played games with Maria where she disappeared. She was physically at the table, but there was someone else there.
I just love to play games as a horrible dictator, you know? I don't know what part of my personality where that's residing normally, but when I play a game, it's like,
hashtag canceled, hashtag under the bed.
Hashtag, what did I say? Terrible dictator? Yes. Nasty cards. I want to be a terrible dictator playing some nasty cards. My
under
Bizzard
the
deck.
bed.
Get my nasty Bizzard deck from under the bed. Hashtag.
Get it together.
But yeah, it's so fun to be able to display another part of your personality that remains locked and hidden in a Bizzard box under the bed when you're playing Magic, you know?
Yeah. Another one that came up was, do you know what? It's a pretty fast game to play.
Yes.
Right? It's not like you can sit down.
You're not playing Twilight Struggle.
Yes. If you're playing Arena, you can literally play like a 20-minute game if that's all you have.
Yeah.
And you're just looking for a fun way to spend a little time. Like maybe you've got 20 minutes between meetings or whatever.
Right, exactly.
You've got that time. Or even if you're hanging out with friends for an evening, like you said, it's not, you don't have to be like, is this going to take us 3 hours?
Yeah.
Is this going to take us 120 individual years?
Individual years, yep.
To play this game? Like, no. Even if you're playing in a 4-person commander pod, it's going to take a couple of hours at the outside limit.
Right, exactly. Games must end, as Rob says.
Yes, exactly. Games must end.
And that's originally how Magic was concepted too, as a game to play in between other games when you're at a convention.
Right, when you're at a convention.
So I think, boom, they did it. And the great thing is now Magic games can be, so customizable down to how long it takes you to play. You can play best of one on Arena, bing, bang, boom. You can get in and get out. Or you can play a long drawn out commander game or whatever, So there's that. There's another one of your bars to measure deck customization on. Yeah. Time to play.
Time. How much time do you want to spend playing?
Because I don't like a game that goes too incredibly long.
Agreed.
I just lose interest in it. I'm like, I want to have a new experience within Magic. So some people love long, drawn out, grindy games.
Yeah.
And some people are like, ugh, no, I'm bored. I want something else new. That's me.
Yeah.
Right? So there's another metric you can give yourself.
Absolutely.
We've made such an incrable Kinsey scale of different ways.
I know,
to
so
measure
many ways
what
that
kind
you
of
can
decks
measure. Like, right,
you want to play.
I feel like if you were to describe like the many the unlimited possibilities of how you want to play Magic, it's essentially a giant circle that's a bunch of intersecting lines.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to figure out like exactly where you land on any of the lines.
So true.
Yeah, which is just so very, very neat. So yeah, we've touched on a heck of a lot of ways to play also.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to tell us why you play Magic, you can tweet at us at GLHF Magic, or you can find our thread where we tweeted out the question and reply to that. So you can have a nice, beautiful collection of answers as to why people play Magic, which is just, honestly is pretty infinite.
Yeah. And to recap a little bit, like we said, like if you are looking for, hey, what is a new way that I should try playing this game if this is what I like? If it's that you enjoy playing it with your friends or partner, try going out and meeting new people to play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be a really great time. If you already love being part of a great community, like just 2 thumbs up to you, man.
2 thumbs.
Congratulations.
Up.
Maybe try another, you can always try joining the Gladiator Discord if you want to meet a new set of people playing a cool new format.
Did you play Gladiator on Arena, by the way?
I did not.
I did. Played my Pants Auras deck. Yeah. It was so fun. Such a fun event.
See, there's always new communities out there.
I do wish they had given those, they had deck lists, and I wish those had been available for you to try out.
Oh, yeah.
And play. Actually, they weren't. So that's my critique. But it was so fun. New format, really fun cash, 100 card singleton. Let's go.
Yeah. If you love being competitive, I mean, you probably already know if you're like, I need to get my competitive edge on. But there's the arena qualifiers. If you can grind the ladder every month, or you can just play the best of 1 or best of 3 play-in events.
You can head over to Magic Online if you're really hardcore.
Exactly. And now there's all of the regional championship qualifiers.
Yes, local game stores.
Find your local game store and see what events they've got happening.
Absolutely.
Self-expression and identity, like amazing. Just keep, you know what? Just go to Scryfall and hit the randomizer button like we do over here. Maybe you will find a mustachioed dwarf or an absolute nightmare of a creature that you feel really expresses you.
Well, I love when I find a deck that I love so much, I love to bling it out, right? Like my Boggles deck. I'm like, I love this Boggles deck. It's silly. It's nonsensical. It does something really fun and cool. In my opinion, that I'm like, this deck is a wonderful expression of myself and I'm going to bling it out. And so I got a lot of foils, foreign language cards, artist altars or whatever, cool sleeves on it. That's just a way to like further develop, you know, my self-expression through the deck.
Mm-hmm. I just want to cap it off with one that we got from longtime listener Punt and Scoop. The answer to why do you play Magic? Wait, we have a choice?
Yep.
No.
Not at this point anymore.
No, you do not.
We're past that.
Beyond it. Hey everybody, we are here with the newest accessory from Ultra Pro.
We are unboxing this.
Which is they have a new Spell Table camera stand. So Spell Table is one of the ways that became huge during the pandemic to play Magic, which is you can play multiplayer games with players anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
Using Spell Table. And this little top-down camera stand helps you use your phone to take, or your camera to take your little video of your board state that you're sending over to Spell Table.
This is a great idea,
yes.
By the way. So like I'm adjusting here. So it's got a clip bottom that you can adjust to your table size. So clip it on your table, right? I'm going to try and get it big enough to go on this table. This is a fat table. Your table size may vary. Oh, still got to make it bigger.
Big fat table. Hashtag canceled.
Hashtag canceled. Yeah, so you can just set it to the right size of your table. Boom! There we go. That thing is not going anywhere. And then you have this clip here. This neck is really strong, by the way.
Yeah,
so a lot of these that you buy online are super, super flimsy, which is not good because you're...
No, you need to, like, it needs to have some heft to
it. It has to have heft to it.
This is, like, really impressive.
It's super good. I
want to shout out the fact that this camera this camera stand is, like, actually very excellent.
Like, I'm not kidding you. Look, we do a lot of video work here at Good Luck High Five.
In case you didn't know.
Obviously. But this stuff that you just buy randomly on the internet, not good because your phone will be too heavy and it will move around and fall or it will shift during the game or whatever. This is not going anywhere.
No, it is spooky.
And here's the clip to clip your phone.
Yes.
There you go.
Here we go. Now we're setting it.
Set it and forget it.
Cute.
There you go.
And I'm wildly incompetent, and that still only took us 2 minutes.
Boom.
Amazing.
Spell Table camera system from Ultra Pro.
Like, so smart. Just if you're playing Spell Table at all, get one of these stinkers because this is so much nicer than what I did, which was try to tape my camera to a hat.
Yeah.
If you think I'm joking, I'm not.
You can check it out on Ultra Pro's website. There to buy it. If you're there, use our code GLHF to get yourself 5% off whatever you want.
Yes.
Save yourself some money.
Sleeves, deck boxes, all of that. Use the code GLHF.
I love this thing.
It's so smart. Look at this. Jeez.
A plus.
A plus.
Well, everybody, that's episode 499 of Good Luck High Five. You know what that means.
Next week is 500.
Next week is 500.
If Maria isn't hashtag canceled by then.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Anything can happen these days. Yeah, come join us for our 500th episode. You're not going to want to miss it.
No.
We have some pretty sweet stuff to give away.
We have some sick giveables. Oh my goodness.
Sick giveaways.
So excited.
So make sure you listen on Tuesday, everybody. It's gonna be a party up in here. And you don't want to miss it. We're still popping the
bubble wrap.
Ultra Pro bubble wrap.
Yes.
Thank you to Ultra Pro for sending us
bubble wrap. Thank you to everyone who is a patron over at patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Another shout out to Aura Lily for upping their pledge.
Yes.
Another shout out to just all of you who are already patrons. Again, consider becoming one or upping your pledge before our 500th episode next week.
Yes, we'd love to give you a shout out on episode 500. So come become a member before then and join the family.
All right.
There may or may not be some music next week.
Uh-oh. Oh my goodness.